While normally we talk about how to be smarter with your investments, today we're going to take a slight detour. We're going to talk about another very interesting subject. Of late, we've been watching the Gen-Zs and the Millennials and the way they go about spending. They are not into investing in the next home or the next piece of land. That's not what they're looking at. They're looking at travel. Travel the world and see places. In some sense, travel unlocks your mind, opens you to new places, and introduces new culture and people to you. It's a wonderful way to spend your leisure time as well as become educated about other cultures. But how can you fund your vacations? That's really what we're going to talk about. But before we go there, we want to look at 5 things that I think is very important for you to plan even before you take a step out towards your vacation dream. First up, draw your bucket list of places that you want to see. Really, it starts there, and do a deep homework. Whether it's the Australias or the Americas or somewhere more exotic is what you want to go. Plan. Gather information about the place that you want to go to. Second, find out how much it costs. Really, there is a bunch of costs that come to you when you plan your travel. Of course, the tickets makes up a large portion, but that apart, you also need to bother about the stay, the food, the travel once you're there, and of course, not to forget the travel insurance and visa fees that you need to pay to get to that foreign land. All these are important components that you will need to gather for you to draw a small budget to even get started about your travel. Next, if you're going to plan your travel as a series over periods of time, also include inflation into it. It's an important component of how you budget your travel expenses. Next, look at how you can generate some amount of savings that you can put at regular intervals. Especially if you're looking at a foreign travel, it's going to cost you a reasonable sum, especially if it's the two of you. Therefore, it's a good idea to have regular investments in place to meet those costs. Last but not the least, look at how you can make the travel in as comfortable but as economical a manner as you can. That's the way you can sustain it over a period of time. In fact, of late, many youngsters who come to us for planning request us to plan a travel every 2 years for them and a travel abroad. So we thought this was interesting to how one can go about planning for one's travel. I just want to kind of take a certain example and look at how you can use your travel planning data. We have taken an example of somebody who's planning to travel every 2 years. A couple who's looking at a 5 lakhs as a base cost. We have considered inflation at 5%. That if you are going to do the immediate planning, we would kind of park that money in something like a safe liquid fund. But as you plan over long periods of time, over a 10-year period, we would kind of start deploying it into equity funds and so on and so forth. Now, is it really possible that I can keep traveling abroad every alternate year for the next 10 years? Absolutely, we believe so. And it's quite easy. It's not as difficult. Let me show you the working and you will realize how, with a little bit of planning and a little bit of focus in executing some of those investments, you can really have a wonderful vacation every year or every alternate year as the case may be. Of course, for the example, we have considered every alternate year a travel cost of 5 lakhs and growing at about 5%. So in this example, let's say you plan to travel 2 years hence and your 5 lakh travel at that point in time at a 5% annual inflation is actually going to work out to about 5,50,000. If you need it today to start an investment to reach that point, you will need to kind of put aside not more than 20,000 rupees. And that's really a very small sum considering that you will enjoy a wonderful holiday 2 years down the line. Similarly, you can do every 2 years, and we have done that work for you as per the Excel that you can see. In the second trip, you will need a sum of about 6 lakhs. In the third trip, you will need a sum of about 6.75 lakhs. Of course, these are assumptions on the base price of 5 lakhs, but it's fair to start somewhere and move towards your goal. And all these future ones, we have, since there is a 4-year period to the second travel, we have taken the rate of return as 12%. We believe you can easily start investing every month into a balanced advantage fund or even an equity fund, a diversified equity fund that can help you generate a reasonable corpus to help you travel. If you were to do this diligently, believe me, any guesses how much it will cost you for your 10 travels over a period of time? No? Hardly 55,000 rupees every month, if you're able to set aside, will get you to your dream destination every 2 years for the next 10 trips. That is, over the next 20 years, you will see the most exotic destinations that you want to ever see, and then enjoy all the holidays with your loved ones, hardly for a sum of 50,000 plus. Now, isn't that exciting? I know some of you do the travel the other way around. That is, you would take the travel, you will use your credit card, and then come back and find ways to kind of pay up the credit card. Now, that's a very costly exercise, my friend. On the contrary, if you're able to plan in advance, there are a bunch of benefits that you will derive. One is you will end up buying tickets cheaper because you can buy them very, very early. You can also use your miles from frequent travels to get your later tickets at a much discounted fare. A lot of benefits flow when you do these back-to-back travel once in 2 years and so on and so forth. So if travel is the bug that's bitten you and you want to see the world, no better time than now and no better place than to start with a plan. And use some of the investment products. Even the humble mutual fund can give you the growth that you will need to fund your travel plans. Happy travels to you.